Welcome to my channel. I decided to start a YouTube channel because I want to document everything for my son and for myself, and also because for fun I love to watch YouTube. Like, I'm on YouTube all day. I watch YouTube, so many videos, and there's so many things that inspire me to do YouTube. And finally I have the courage to do a channel, so stay tuned for today's video and I hope you enjoy. So for today's video, we're going to talk about my entire pregnancy journey, how I found I was pregnant, and my reaction. Okay, so ever since I was a little kid, I've always loved babies. Like, I've always played with dolls. I always loved babies. I love to babysit my nieces and nephews, and I would do it. Like, I would always babysit because I loved kids. Little babies, I never ever babysat little babies. Like, newborns, little infant, always 1 year old and up. So I didn't really know about newborns and all that stuff. So I always knew I wanted to be a mom. That was one thing that I always knew I wanted to be. It was just something, it was a dream for me to be a mom. And I always had a fear, what if I wasn't able to become a mom? So that thing just, it left, and I grew up, I became a teenager, and I just forgot about it. I knew I wanted to be a mom, but I didn't really care at the time because I was a teenager. So starting March 2018, I was supposed to get my period two days before I found out I was pregnant. And so I always didn't think anything of it or anything. But one big symptom that I really realized was that, this is TMI, but this is what really happens. So yeah, I'm gonna tell you. I was starting to get vaginal cramps, really bad vaginal cramps, and there was a point where it was like a lightning bolt in your vagina. It really hurt. And I would get those, but maybe once before I would get my period, so I didn't think anything of it because I was I always get them every time I get a cycle, so it was nothing new to me. This time it happened 3 to 4 times a day, constantly, every day, and I was just this is not right. Something's wrong. I've never had it this consistent, and it hurt this bad. It was so bad that I would have to lay down and just stay there until the pain went away because it was so bad, like a lightning bolt, I swear. So I made an appointment with the doctor, and I told Julian, I need, I want to go to the doctor to this because it's never been this bad. He's like, okay. So we went to the doctor, and of course it tested me for pregnancy because that's one of the things that could be for pregnancy. So I was like, okay. They came back negative. They gave me these really hard pills. They were really strong for the pain because they thought it was something else, an infection or something. I'm not sure. So I had scheduled a Planned Parenthood. It's so weird how life works. I had scheduled a Planned Parenthood appointment the same day, right after my appointment, an hour after, because I knew I was going to be going to the doctors, and I just wanted to get birth control. So backstory before that, me and Julian were talking about birth control. I told him, you know what, I want to plan my life. I want to travel. I want to go to school. I want to do all these things before I have a baby. And he said, you know what, it's perfectly fine. Let's get birth control. So yeah, that's the day I scheduled my appointment, and we went to the doctor. After it was negative, we were okay, fine, whatever. We went to eat, and then we went to Planned Parenthood. So he waited outside because they don't let the guys go inside. So I went in there, and then I was by myself, and I still remember the girl, to this day when I go, I still remember her. And she's like, okay, take a pregnancy test. And I'm like, oh, are you sure? I just took one an hour ago. It came back negative. It's not going to be positive because I just took one an hour ago. And she's like, yeah, it's policy. We have to take the test in order for me to give you birth control for the sake of the baby, or if anything were to go wrong, we have to take the test. And I was like, okay, whatever, nonchalant. I just took the test. I didn't even care. I was like, whatever. There was another girl in the room next to me, so I was like, okay, whatever. And then I heard them say it's positive, and I was like, oh, good, that's good that she got the positive test, because I knew mine was gonna be negative. I literally texted Julian, and I told him the girl next to me had a positive test, and he was like, oh my god, that's so cool for her. The girl comes in, she opens the door, she's smiling with the paper in her hand, and she's like, I don't know how to tell you this, but congratulations, you're pregnant. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, you're pregnant. And I'm like, how? Like, I just took a test an hour ago and it was negative. And she's like, you look. And she showed me the pregnancy test. And then she's like, it's very, very, very faint, but it's there. And I'm like, no, go take another test because it's not mine. Like, I literally told her that. She's like, okay. She started laughing. She went to take another test. She came back. Look, it's your test again. And then I was like, what? Like, how is this even possible? So I couldn't even text Julian because she was in the room already. She was already saying the estimated due date and all these things. And it was too much. And I was just like, okay. So she told me, your due date is December 30th, 2018. And I was like, okay, like, that's cool. So I go outside. Julian has no idea, because he's just there sitting there and waiting for me. Because I had told him the girl was positive and it wasn't me. So I give him the paper and it says like estimated due date. It just says EDD, so he doesn't even know like what it is because you have to take that paper to the doctor, like your OBGYN, for them to confirm a pregnancy. So he's like, what is this? And I'm like, it's our baby's due date. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's our baby's due date. He's like, how are you? Like, you're pregnant? I'm like, yeah. He's like, dude, what? He was so shocked, so shocked. So my reaction at Planned Parenthood, the first thing I like felt was complete happiness. Like, it just rushed over my body, complete happiness. And then I started to realize when I got in the car, I was like, oh my god, like, this is a huge responsibility. This is a human. I'm very actually scared. I don't even think I'm ready. I was 20. I'm 21 right now. I was 20. I was like, I'm really young. Like, I don't think I can handle a baby like another human. So we were just really like in awe. We were happy. We were in awe. And we were really, really scared because of the same thing. Like, I was living at my aunt's house at the time. I wasn't living with my mom. So I was like, how am I gonna like bring a baby into my aunt's house, even though she would not care at all? But that's my thought. That I was like, how am I gonna bring a baby to my aunt's house, and you know, like, she's like lending me her house to like live there and stuff, and I'm gonna bring a baby on there. Like, that's what was going through my mind. So I felt so like scared to tell anyone. So I honestly kept it the secret for like about, I don't know, like a week. And then one day my aunt, like, I was going to the restroom, and then I was like, I don't know, like, I don't feel good. And she's like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, I don't feel good. She was heading out, and she was like, you're pregnant. And she just asked me like that, and I was like, I just stayed quiet, and I'm like, yeah. And she just like, we're gonna talk when I get back. So she left, and I was like, oh my god. The main person I was scared to tell that was pregnant was my sister. And I was so scared because I was like, what is she gonna say? Like, what is she gonna tell me? You know, like, we're both living in my aunt's house. Why would, like, she's gonna be like, why would you do this? But I don't know, like, I was just so scared. So how my sister found out was I was talking to one of my friends on FaceTime, and I had told her. She didn't believe, my friend didn't believe me, but I kept telling her. My sister overheard when she was walking down the hall, and that's how she found out. And she was just like really hurt that I didn't tell her, but she got over it, you know. When I told my mom, my mom has always told me, like, I want to be a grandma since like day one. I want to be a grandma. I want to be a grandma. So we went to my mom's job, and she was working like nothing. Like, it was a regular day. And Julian's like, oh, like, we have something to tell you. And she's like, what? Because she wasn't expecting anything. And he's like, we got a house. Like, we got a house. It's in El Centro. He just started describing a random place. And she's like, oh my god, congrats. Like, good for you guys. I'm so happy. And then this and that. And then I just pulled out the paper, and I showed her. And I'm like, here. Like, she opened it, and she was crying. Like, she was like, oh my god. Like, I'm going to be a grandma. She couldn't stop smiling. Her smile was from, like, ear to ear. She was so excited. Like, I can't believe it. And then, what's it called? And then how I told my mother-in-law, she was not happy. Like, she was definitely not happy because she wanted us to build more together and have a home and have better jobs and have all the stability. And I totally understand now. But at the time, I was very hurt because I wanted her to, you know, be happy as my mom was. And how I told my family, my entire family, I remember it was the day of one of the boxing matches. And we just announced it. I was just so scared, but I was like probably like 6 weeks at the time. We just announced it. We just said, hey guys, just going to tell you in front of everyone. Trust me, it was like more than 30 people were like, Julian's like, we're pregnant. Because I couldn't say it because I was so scared of the judgment. And there's a few aunts that were just like, what the heck, like, not happy, you know. But the majority of the family was so happy. Like, they were so happy, they were hugging me, they were this and that. super supportive since day one. So that is my how I like found that I was pregnant, and my reaction, and my family's reactions, and my everyone's reactions. So now we're gonna go to my pregnancy journey. So my pregnancy journey, I loved it. I loved my pregnancy. Like, it was so beautiful. My baby, like, growing, my belly growing was so crazy to me. I didn't think it was like possible, but it was. And I just, day by day, I started working. I got a better job at Starbucks. I worked at Starbucks, and they were really nice to me about it. Like, they weren't jerks about it. They were there to help me, and if I needed something, they were there. People, believe it or not, are very nice to you when you're pregnant. They're very nice, and they're very, like, calm, and they don't want to disrespect you or make you cry, because your emotions are everywhere. Your hormones are everywhere. So they were treating me really nice there, and I had good coworkers, but I was so mean. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was the meanest person there. I didn't talk to no one. I was just rude, and I didn't want to be there, and it was just bad. But it was my hormones, I just lashed out at everyone there. But they really took it so well. So as my journey progressed, I had gestational diabetes. So that means that you have diabetes when you're pregnant. It was not controlled. Like, I would have to take insulin, and I couldn't take metformin, which are these pills. I couldn't take them because they're not safe for pregnancy. So I had to take 2 types of insulin, which you inject in your body every single day. So I had to take 2 before breakfast, 2 at night before I go to sleep, and then 1 in between meals. I would have to inject myself all day with insulin, because like I just couldn't control my sugar. Like, it was just bad. And I was dealing with that. So when I was 6 weeks, I was 26 weeks, and when I would walk, I would get like a lightning bolt again. Like, my pelvic area was so, like, it hurt so bad that I couldn't walk. I would walk like a penguin at work. I would walk like a penguin everywhere because it hurt so bad. And I went to the doctor for it. They checked me, like, the ultrasound. They said that the baby's head was down already at 26 weeks. So he's like, that's why it hurts. So I was like, okay, like, it hurts. So at 30 weeks, I was already a 2 at 30 weeks pregnant. I was dilated at 2. I didn't know what's going on, because it was just nothing. Like, I was just like, okay, like, I'm a 2. How exciting, my baby's coming. I was so impatient, my first baby. And then I just progressed little by little. So at 30 weeks, I went to the doctor. They admitted me, and they took me to Palm Desert to another hospital. Just in case the baby was going to come, they didn't have the care for that type of situation. So I was at the hospital for 5 days. I was so miserable because I was so alone. Like, my family would come visit me, but it wasn't that much because it was like a 2-hour drive. Julian would go to work and then go straight back to the hospital, and it was just, I was really lonely. I had a very limited meal, and as a pregnant person, you get really hungry. Very limited meals, and I would only have like 3 meals a day, and it was just, no, endless pokes, endless IVs. It was horrible, but it was for my baby, so I didn't care. I was just like, okay, like, I want to do anything to keep this baby healthy and safe. So they released me on Halloween Day. I still remember. They released me on Halloween Day. I went home, and at 35 weeks, I remember Julian said, I have to go on this trip to Sacramento. My boss told me I have to go for 3 days, and I told him, you can't go. I'm 35 weeks. I'm already dilated. At the time, I thought I was dilated too. I was like, I'm dilated too. I can't. And he's like, I'm gonna have to go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I was like, whatever. So he told his boss, you know what, and the situation, he said, if she goes into labor, I have to leave. Like, I have to go. So they said, that's fine. So that Monday, which on that Sunday was my second baby shower for my mother-in-law. So that Monday, we went shopping for everything else for the baby. Kid you not, I had the worst pain in my stomach, and I didn't know what was happening. I just told my mom, I have the worst pain. I can't even move, breathe, talk, eat, nothing. It was so bad. She's like, I don't know, just take Tums, just relax, this and that. So I was like, okay. And I actually called labor and delivery, telling them the same thing, and they just told me, take Tums and lay down. So I was like, okay. Little did I know I was contracting already. I was having contractions, but they were the worst pain ever. And so that day, I just remember taking the Tums. I drugged myself with Tums because it was so bad, but little did I know it was contractions. So I was just there, and Monday happened. Tuesday, it happened in the morning, but it wasn't that bad. Julian was already gone at 5 in the morning on Tuesday. So I had Tuesday night, Wednesday night by myself. So Thursday came around, and I had my doctor's appointment with my doctor. So they put the belly band on me since I was 30 weeks. Since I was already dilating a 2, they had already put the belly band on me since then. So they put the belly band on me, and they were checking my pregnancy and all of that. And then the baby, I guess, every time I would have a contraction, the baby's heart rate would drop. So the doctor checked it, and he told me, like, you know what, you need to go to the labor and delivery because of this. And I was like, okay. Like, I've been going every week as well. I would go once a week to my OBGYN, once a week to the hospital to get monitored and an ultrasound to check if everything's good, the fluids are good, which they were. I went that day not thinking anything. And the nurse is like, okay, I'm going to check you right now. And I was like, okay. So she checked me, and she's like, you're a 4. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, you're a 4. So I was like, okay. So she called Dr. Goki, which was not my OBGYN. He was a doctor on call. She called him, and she told him, what do we do? She told him the whole history and all this stuff. He said, we're going to induce her. And when she told me those words when they came back from the restroom, because she made me put in a gown, I couldn't believe it. I was like, I'm going to be induced. Julian's 10 hours away. How am I going to do this? So I called my sister, and I told her, you need to come to the hospital right now because I'm getting induced. She went to go get my mom, and they came for moral support. So they stayed. Julian came. He got here at 2 in the morning at the hospital. And then that's where we're getting into the whole labor and delivery story, which was going to be another vlog. That's going to be another video, I mean. So, like, we're just going to leave right here. We're going to cut it right here. And that's going to be it. But thank you for watching. And I hope you really enjoyed my reaction and my pregnancy journey and all of that. I do want to do how I reacted to my gender reveal and my gender reveal, like how we showed everyone our gender reveal and all of that. So please comment, like, share, subscribe, and I will be staying tuned for more videos. Thank you.